The most dangerous moment in life is not when you have nothing, it is when you become too comfortable with having enough. Comfort can quietly kill ambition. It softens urgency, dulls discipline, and convinces people that average is acceptable. But hunger, real hunger, does the opposite. Hunger sharpens the mind. It forces movement. It creates resilience. It turns ordinary people into extraordinary achievers. Whether it is the hunger for success, respect, financial freedom, purpose, or self-worth, that inner fire has built empires, transformed lives, and pushed human beings beyond limits they once thought impossible. If you study the lives of exceptional people, one pattern appears again and again. They were hungry. Not necessarily hungry for food, but hungry for something bigger. Hungry to prove themselves. Hungry to escape struggle. Hungry to create meaning. Hungry to rise above circumstances. Excellence is rarely born from satisfaction. It is born from dissatisfaction, from the refusal to accept less than what one knows is possible. Hunger creates focus because it removes distractions. When someone truly wants something, they stop negotiating with excuses. A student determined to change his family's future studies differently. An entrepreneur desperate to build something meaningful works differently. An athlete who cannot tolerate mediocrity trains differently. Hunger simplifies life. It asks one question: how badly do you want this? And your daily actions answer that question far louder than your words ever can. Many people say they want success, but few are truly hungry for it. Wanting is casual. Hunger is commitment. Wanting says, I hope things improve. Hunger says, I will make things improve. Wanting waits for motivation. Hunger creates discipline even when motivation disappears. That is why hunger fuels excellence. It replaces temporary emotion with permanent determination. Psychologically, hunger activates persistence. Human beings are wired to pursue what they perceive as necessary. When success becomes a necessity instead of a preference, effort changes. People stop working only when convenient. They begin working because stopping feels more painful than continuing. This is why some individuals outperform more talented people. Talent without hunger becomes laziness. Average ability with relentless hunger often becomes greatness. History proves this repeatedly. Many of the world's greatest leaders, inventors, and creators did not begin with privilege. They began with pressure. Scarcity taught them resourcefulness. Rejection taught them toughness. Failure taught them precision. They were forced to develop muscles others never needed. Hunger became their advantage. The person who has something to prove often outruns the person who has everything to protect. But hunger is not only about external success. It also fuels internal excellence. A person hungry for wisdom reads deeper. A person hungry for peace reflects more honestly. A person hungry for character chooses integrity when shortcuts are easier. Excellence is not only visible in wealth or achievement. Sometimes it is seen in patience, self-control, emotional maturity, and the courage to remain principled in difficult times. There is also a spiritual dimension to hunger. Many people discover that the deepest hunger is not for money, fame, or recognition, but for significance. They want their life to matter. They want their work to mean something. They want to leave behind more than bills and memories. They want legacy. This hunger pushes people to seek purpose instead of applause. It transforms ambition into contribution. And contribution is where excellence becomes truly powerful, because it stops being self-centered and starts becoming service. However, hunger must be managed wisely. Not all hunger is healthy. There is destructive hunger too, the endless craving for validation, comparison, or greed. That kind of hunger creates burnout, anxiety, and emptiness because no achievement is ever enough. Healthy hunger is different. It is rooted in growth, not ego. It says, I want to become better, not "I want others to think I am better." One leads to excellence. The other leads to exhaustion. The challenge in modern life is that comfort is easier than ever. Entertainment is endless. Distraction is constant. Instant gratification is available everywhere. People can feel productive without producing anything meaningful. Social media offers the illusion of progress. Comfort whispers dangerous lies. Tomorrow is fine, average is safe, effort can wait. Hunger fights that lie. Hunger reminds you that time is limited and potential wasted is a tragedy. Sometimes life itself creates hunger through pain. A setback, betrayal, financial loss, illness, or humiliation can awaken something powerful. Suddenly, comfort disappears and clarity arrives. Many people discover their strongest version only after life breaks their weaker one. The setback becomes the spark. The rejection becomes the reason. The suffering becomes the teacher. Hunger often enters through hardship, but if handled correctly, it leaves behind strength. Parents often misunderstand this principle. In trying to protect children from struggle, they sometimes remove the very conditions that create resilience. Difficulty is not always the enemy. Controlled struggle teaches responsibility, gratitude, and drive. A person who has never had to fight for anything may never learn the value of excellence. Hunger often teaches lessons that comfort never can. The question then becomes, how do we create hunger without waiting for disaster? The answer is honest self-examination. Ask yourself uncomfortable questions. Am I growing or just repeating? Am I chasing purpose or merely surviving routine? Am I disciplined or just temporarily inspired? Am I truly living up to my potential? Excellence begins where excuses end. Hunger starts when honesty enters. Surroundings also matter. Being around ambitious, disciplined, and purpose-driven people can reignite hunger. Environments shape expectations. If everyone around you accepts mediocrity, excellence feels extreme. But if you stand among people who demand growth, average becomes uncomfortable. Sometimes hunger is contagious. Most importantly, remember that excellence is not a destination but a way of living. It is built in quiet mornings, repeated habits, private sacrifices, and invisible consistency. It is not glamorous. It is often lonely. But hunger makes those sacrifices meaningful because it keeps the vision alive when the results are still invisible. In the end, hunger fuels excellence because it gives people a reason stronger than comfort. It creates urgency where laziness once lived. It transforms pain into power and desire into discipline. It reminds us that our greatest enemy is often not failure, but complacency. The world rarely rewards those who simply wish. It rewards those who refuse to stay where they are. So ask yourself today, what are you hungry for? Not what sounds impressive, but what truly keeps you awake at night. What dream refuses to leave you alone? What standard are you no longer willing to compromise? Find that hunger. Protect it. Feed it with discipline. Let it guide your choices. Because the people who change their lives, and sometimes the world, are rarely the most comfortable people in the room. They are the hungriest. And if this message spoke to something inside you, don't let it end here. Share it with someone who needs that spark. Reflect on your own hunger. Reignite your purpose. And remember, excellence does not belong to the lucky. It belongs to the relentlessly hungry.